This ain't did nobody ask, did nobody check him for no steroid. I said, he had quick hands, he was hit. I said, why y'all ain't checking for steroid? He ain't checking steroid. And then
you think he was on steroids?
Of course he was on steroid.
What we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids.
One way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez,
Evander Holyfield, a legendary boxer, has publicly accused Canelo Alvarez of possibly using steroids. As emotions rise ahead of the Canelo versus Terence Crawford bout, Holyfield's audacious comments have sparked a flurry of debate and conjecture among boxing fans.
Mexican boxing fights of all time, in my opinion. Yeah. So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off steroids.
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How does five?
You saw De La Hoya
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids? Right. All those fucking dudes in that camp.
While Holyfield has been vocal on the need for harsher sanctions for athletes who test positive for prohibited substances, even if he has not specifically accused Canelo of using steroids. After Canelo tested positive for clenbuterol in 2018, Holyfield recommended that sportsmen who were found utilizing urine be imprisoned for 30 days.
Alvarez failed a drug test before his big Triple G fight in May, and he's blending Mexican cows. All right, here's the deal. 2 months until the rematch with Gennady Golovkin on May 5th is going to be the big fight, and he's been taking drug tests leading up to the fight, standard operating procedure. This time he popped for a substance called clenbuterol, which is a banned substance. As a matter of fact, it helps you cut weight. A lot of people use it illegally to cut weight while maintaining muscle mass. He's saying he did not cheat, he's not a cheater, I did not intentionally take clenbuterol. The problem is, I'm returning to Mexico and eating contaminated cow beef. That's what he's saying. The problem apparently in Mexico where some of the cattle are being injected with clenbuterol, which helps cows, it's illegal in the United States, but some places outside the United States and some places in the United States will use clenbuterol to grow bigger cows, to up the protein content in the meat. And he's saying that what he had was contaminated meat because his training center is in Mexico and there's a problem with Mexican meat down there. He even issued a statement saying, quote, "I'm an athlete who respects the sport and this surprises me and bothers me because it never happened to me. I will submit to all the tests that require me to clarify this embarrassing situation and I trust in the end the truth will prevail." So far the fight with Gennady Golovkin is still on. He's still dead set on making that fight.
Floyd Mayweather has publicly chastised the boxing community for what he sees as a double standard when it comes to Canelo Alvarez's use of steroids. Mayweather argues that whereas certain fighters are subject to close examination, others, like Canelo, are given more leeway because of their prestige and marketability. He contends that this discrepancy compromises the integrity of the sport and enables some people to avoid responsibility. Mayweather highlights that using urine not only amounts to cheating but also offers serious health hazards, endangering the legitimacy of the sport.
The greatest Canelo came out, the one that you guys seen that fought Triple G the first time. Bro, dude popped dirty for clenbuterol, bro. Why do you think the second fight didn't happen? So, for me seeing that was the best Canelo I've ever seen. But that was Canelo off of steroids. Everybody else that he's fought, fought Amir Khan, he fought Daniel Jacobs, he fought, what the f is his name, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. These guys are all weak, bro. So for me, that's why I feel like I see Canelo Alvarez and I see like, he's not as good as everybody thinks. Because the best one that fought Golovkin that first time was off clenbuterol. That was the best Canelo I've ever seen, and that's why he looked so good, because he was off clenbuterol. So what the Canelo, he even got suspended for like 7 months.
So it's guaranteed he was
guaranteed he took it. He said that he ate meat that was tainted in Mexico.
Now, let me ask you that question.
I've talked to people, they said for him to test positive off a piece of meat, he would have had to eat the whole.
David Benvitz has accused Alvarez and his whole squad of utilizing steroids in public. Given the quantity of positive steroid tests in Canelo's camp, he wondered why, if he were genuinely confident, Canelo would avoid a fight with him. The two boxers' continuous enmity has been heightened by Ben's remarks, in which he implies that Canelo's squad is dishonest because of numerous failed steroid tests.
Serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or is in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Reynoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Reynoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Reynoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight classes. You know, at a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero has said, certain point in time your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 210. Closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not gonna get up. If I was 210 now at 50 years old.
Due to several drug accusations against fighters he coached, Eddie Reynoso's gym has come under heavy investigation. Reynoso's trainer, Canelo Alvarez, is notable for having been connected to previous steroid scandals. A number of fighters from Reynoso's camp have tested positive for illegal substances, prompting critics to question the supervision and training environment. Canelo's quick physical change is being intently observed by onlookers as he gets ready for his fight with Terence Crawford.
Juicing. If for a 30-year-old, right, you remember, your body grows, men's body can grow in height and length up until to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length. In your mid-20s, you know, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30.
It can be especially difficult to naturally grow significant muscle mass in one's 30s, according to some boxing analysts. However, the validity of Canelo Alvarez's muscle gains has come under scrutiny due to his recent physical metamorphosis, which has made him appear noticeably larger than in prior years. The history of drug claims involving Eddie Reynoso's gym and trainer business heightens this investigation. Significantly, some fighters from Reynoso's squad have tested positive for illegal substances, raising questions about the training setting and methods.
What up, everybody? It's your boy MC from MGTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak. He's going to be fully juiced with something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has access to everything.
In a recent Joe Rogan Experience show, Rogan talked on the subject, emphasizing the significance of Alvarez's previous failed clenbuterol test, as well as the current discussions regarding his performance and appearance. He underlined the need of openness and the necessity for athletes to preserve the sport's purity. As Alvarez gets ready for his bout versus Crawford, the discussion fueled more rumors. Regarding the latest doping accusations made against Canelo Alvarez prior to his bout with Terence Crawford, many boxing fans have not been overly surprised. Some supporters believe that Canelo's recent charges are in line with his past behavior because of his history with performance-enhancing drugs, which includes a ban for testing positive for clenbuterol.
Left-handed or right, how do you deal with someone like that?
Well, I don't know, there's nobody to switch up on me about it. So it's hard for me to say, but I know life is about adjustment. You have to make adjustment. To be successful, adjustment is always going to be the difference between how far you going to go.
And this is the last one, because I just thought of something. Obviously, Fury Usyk, a lot of people are talking about for undisputed. You know, you were a smaller guy, and you almost beat, a lot of people thought you beat Nikolai Valuev, who's even taller. Even taller than Tyson Fury. How does a small guy Usyk defeat a tall guy like Tyson Fury?
Terence Holyfield has shown a great deal of respect for Terence Crawford's extraordinary boxing skills, especially his amazing strength and adaptable fighting style. Holyfield emphasized Crawford's ability to move fluidly between southpaw and orthodox stances, which makes it difficult for opponents to predict his moves. He compared this flexibility to life's need for constant adaptation, emphasizing that it compels enemies to modify their tactics throughout the conflict. Holyfield's appreciation highlights Crawford's distinct style and quick reflexes, which he feels make him a strong and ready opponent. Brian Bohm McIntyre, Terence Crawford's longtime trainer, has stated that he is completely confident in their approach. McIntyre highlights that every detail of their preparation has been considered. Although he respects Canelo's amazing abilities, he thinks Crawford's flexibility and strategy will be crucial in overcoming the difficulties presented by a naturally stronger opponent.